Hello, this is Miss Brown, and today we'll be having a lesson on Kingdom Protista. It's often called the Protists for short. And number one, why was this one created? It's for organisms that don't fit into other kingdoms. So it's just kind of a misfit kingdom or a catch-all. And you'll see as we go through here, there's no one set characteristic for a kingdom Protista organism. So number two, all protists are eukaryotic. Most are unicellular, but a few are not. Some protists are autotrophs and make their own food, and others are heterotrophs. That's number four. Number five, in what type of habitat can most protists be found? Water, wet soil, or even inside other organisms, including you. Keep in mind, again, you can always stop the video to fill in as we go and take your time. Okay, there are two main groups of protists, either the Protozoa, they are more animal-like. We often call those zooplankton, zoo meaning animal, or they're algae, and they're more plant-like. And what you may be familiar with is pond scum, you know, that green stuff that's on top of the pond, especially in the spring. That's phytoplankton. Now, 7 says protozoa and algae are a part of plankton. And where can plankton be found? And you can find that on page 378. And it'll be found in water. And why is it important? It's an important part of the food chain and also for photosynthesis. All right, 8. Protozoa are classified according to their movement. So let's go through this chart and fill it in together. And again, you may have to stop this. So the group ciliates. An example, a movement of that is by cilia. An example of that is the paramecium. Flagellates, flagella is their form of movement, their mode of movement. An example of that is the euglena. Amoebas, pseudopodia, and an example of that, of course, is the amoeba. And sporozoans, they have no movement. They usually move through bloodstreams. And the example of that is Plasmodium. So if you look at the pictures at the bottom, the paramecium, of course, label it underneath ciliate. Euglena, label it flagellate. And amoeba, label it amoebas. Now, number 9. Many protozoa live in aquatic habitats, and they have this contractile vacuole we talked about earlier in the first semester that squeezes out the extra water. It's kind of like a bilge pump on a boat. It keeps the cell from exploding in the water. Protozoa are important links as zooplankton in the aquatic food chain, and some are disease-causing parasites, such as malaria. Now, evolutionists teach that animals evolved from protozoa, possibly from the flagellates. Okay, on the back, algae are classified according to color. And pond scum and the things that you're mostly familiar with are green. And 13, green algae are in the classification division Chlorophyta. Remember, plants don't have a phylum; they have they have divisions. And evolutionists teach that plants may have evolved from this green algae. Now, algae are important food producers in aquatic habitats because they contain chlorophyll and carry on photosynthesis. And 15, algae make up an important aquatic food source called phytoplankton. And in addition to food, they're very important producers of oxygen. They're the big-time photosynthetic organisms on our Earth. And where they live in the ocean definitely produces a great deal of our oxygen that we enjoy as animals here on Earth. So let's talk about some different ones you may encounter. You eat algae and may not know it. It's found in mayonnaise, salad dressing, ice cream pudding. Often I've told you before that if you actually saw food in its natural form, you'd probably freak out because most things in this list will separate and they have to be shaken to get them before you eat them. And they put this algae inside these foods to keep them homogeneous, to keep it mixed up so you don't see it sitting on the shelf separated and think it's ruined. And ice cream, if you ever had homemade ice cream, when you put it in the freezer and try to eat it tomorrow, you know how it's really icy and it's not so good. It's not really cream anymore. The way they keep that you buy at the grocery store and put in your freezer, look on the ingredients and you'll see something called carrageenan, and that's a type of algae. that keeps it smooth and creamy. All right, and household items, toothpaste, little gritty stuff in toothpaste, those are diatoms, and it's the shell on the outside, these little protists, and when they die in the ocean, they fall to the bottom. And over years and years and years, those little bodies at the bottom, they're very soft, but they're still abrasive enough to clean your teeth. So that's what is in your toothpaste. That's that gritty stuff in toothpaste. Abrasive cleaners like Ajax, car polish. If you have a pool, you might have it where it has diatomaceous earth filter. In the lab, it's used as agar. It's a media for growing bacteria in a Petri dish. Now, I want you to use your internet, and I want you to find a couple of common protozoa. We will be doing one in class. We'll be doing the euglena and labeling it. You may choose to do that one if you are a virtual learner. Thank you.